This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Road Theater for the world premiere of Through the Eye of a Needle. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Jamie Branley, the playwright.
So, question, why did you decide to write this piece?
I decided to write this piece because I wanted to write a companion play to my other play called Technicolor Life. And I started the play 4 years ago, and I stopped at page 30 because I didn't know what I wanted to do next. I had a lot of questions that I needed to answer. And so over the next 4 years, I had other productions. Life happened. I wound up getting a divorce. And so what I did was, in the beginning of my divorce, I submitted the first 20 pages to the Rhodes Playwrights Festival. And I said, you know, if they want the rest of the play in May, I'll write the rest in the next 50 pages. And so what happened was, they wanted the rest of the play. So I wrote the rest of the play. I wrote 50 pages in a week, and I submitted it. And what was great about that was I had to make decisions. I couldn't just, think about what did I wanted to do some more research. I had to, make the decisions. And so I did it. The play got in, and they wanted to do it. And I was like, oh, my goodness. And so here we are. So it being a companion piece, to go back to that point, is Technicolor Life deals with a family that has a female soldier coming back as a wounded soldier, an amputee, and this play deals with the death of a daughter. So I wanted to, and it takes place at the same time, end of 2011, beginning of 2012.
This piece reminded me a lot of Norman Lear's work. All in the family.
That's interesting. Oh, because of Larry.
Yeah, more than just that. You have the blue-collar guy who's a little old school.
Yeah.
You have the younger person trying to, bring forth modern technology. But also, you have them talking, presenting their opinions, but also dealing with them civilly and sometimes, I wouldn't say uncivilly, but, you my thoughts?
Yes. I take that as a great compliment. So thank you. I haven't had that comparison yet, so I'm just going to graciously thank you for that.
Yeah. Also, some people would say this family is dysfunctional, but I was in the audience thinking, is this really a dysfunctional family? I mean, how else do you handle this? I mean, how else do you handle grief? How do you work out your garbage? I mean, people are saying these people should go to therapy, but what are your thoughts on that? Are they doing it right? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think for me, the question is, when the gift is presented to them, what do they do? Do they take the gift, or do they reject the gift? And so for the character of Larry, he's resisting because I think for him it's so painful for him to deal with the death of his daughter that if he does it, he's just never going to stop crying. But by him accepting a gift, yes, of course, he has his moment, but it's an open moment. His heart is now open. So yeah, I think for me anyway, I'm not sure about you, dealing with grief, I don't think there are any rules. I think time happens sideways, backwards, forwards. You're just sort of going for the ride with grief. And then there are moments where you have to really accept things and accept unexpected gifts, and then take the next step forward into the scary unknown. What does your life look like while accepting the death of a daughter? Do you know what I mean? And it's a very scary place, and I think that's why some people just stay in their grief, because they don't know who they are without it.
I also like the fact that this was a kind of a snapshot of America, not Los Angeles, America, but real America, middle America, where again the father might not be, as progressive, and but he's being dragged into the 21st century. Yeah. So I really love that about it also.
Okay, well that's great. I'm glad. I grew up in North Bergen, New Jersey, which is 2 cities over from Fort Lee. I have people like this in my family. I know these people, and part of what I really wanted to do with Through the Eye of a Needle is write an American traditional drama/dramedy. I really wanted to attempt doing that in real time, 2 acts in real time, 15-minute break, that's in real time, and see if I can really sink my teeth into it. Because sometimes as my director would tell you, it's hard to have 7 people on the stage at once, having to exist in their own bodies and also be part of the collective ensemble. So I'm very lucky and grateful that I have this amazing director and cast to bring that to life.
Yeah. Well, I love the story. Obviously, you wrote the story because it was packed with so much, I wouldn't say controversy, but so much meat.
Yeah.
You know, so much debatable topics. You know, whether women should actually be taking command and things like this.
Yeah.
I also compliment you on actually the humor in it, because it's so hard for a comedy to work so well with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like even Norman Lear, his All in the Family would be for, you know, it would be a series. It would be like for a year or something. Packing that all into an hour, and it'd be funny. It going through the highs, the lows, and covering all the stuff, and it was quite remarkable.
Thank you. I wish I could tell you the formula in which I was able to just put it all together, but I can't, other than every play has its own journey. So as a playwright, I have several plays, and each play basically has its own journey. Some plays take a couple of years, some plays take like 1 year, which is like, oh, that's a miracle. Whereas this play, it had to start 4 years ago. I had to go through all of my personal stuff, dealing with my own loss, and then basically being given a gift and taking that gift and saying, okay, I'm going to write the rest of this play. I'm going to make these decisions. I'm going to write this play. I'm going to write the next 50 pages, and just like, you know, open up my heart and put it all out there. Because the play, for me, even though there's resistance and there's death and there's trauma, there's in a lot of comedy, this play ultimately is about love.
Well, I love this piece.
Thank
Again,
you.
I thought it was like Norman Lear, and I haven't seen Norman Lear
meets what? Meets some sort of like American traditional theater. I'm trying to like Norman Lear because it's not a sitcom.
It was funny though.
It's very funny. I agree. It's very funny, but there. How can I think dramedy is, because I can't just call it a drama because that's not true. So it's like I wanted to take the traditional American drama, theater drama, and turn it on its head a bit to give it a lot of comedy, but also make you kind of cry at the end, or cry a lot at the end. So hopefully, I'm able to do that every night. And I think these guys will, because they're so good. I'm so blessed.
Yeah, well, I loved it. I really loved it.
you.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Ann Hearn. I'm the director of Through the Eye of a Needle, and we've been working since the end of January, and we have a great ensemble play, and lots of fun, exciting characters and events happen. So we've just been preparing that, and we're open and running and having a great time.
You know, this piece reminded me a lot of All in the Family, of Norman Lear's work. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I can see that in the sense that it has that mixture of humor and pathos at the same time, also challenging our thoughts on current issues without beating you over the head with anything, you know, kind of leading you gently into the pathway of re-examining how you feel about people and situations. So, yeah, I actually can see that quite well.
Yeah, plus they also talk about issues that are common right now, common to everybody, like, you know, growing up, like, you know, the old blue-collar worker guy who's basically, you know, trying to look at this new world where women are taking over. It's like men are supposed to be in the army, women don't go in the army. I didn't fight in the army just so my daughter could fight, you know, things like that.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think it's not just the familiar with the political landscape, and I mean that in the general sense of, you know, the politics of culture, but also just our family relationships, you know, what we know these situations, difficult holidays, a difficult Thanksgiving, a difficult Christmas, for whatever reason, you know, the dynamics of between the parents, how the children have to sometimes be the adults in the family, you know, where the foot gets put down, that sort of thing.
What Norman Lear would do is he would put two opposite people together, a white, you know, racist and you know, a black person or a homosexual person, and just have them civilly talk and work things out the way America. It's almost a reflection of the way America will work things out. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, certainly the way that it can at its best. You know, that's what you hope for, that if you just know someone on a personal basis and deal with them as a human being to human being, it's difficult to deny that humanness, and you start to see where your commonality exists and where your boundaries overlap, and they're not so foreign or exotic or other than you are.
I also liked your choice in casting. I love those characters, the actors. What do you look for in your casting?
I look for people that can tell the truth. Even though it's a pretend situation, that they can look at you and say something and that you believe it.
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
A family struggling to be okay and being okay.
I really love the piece. I love your direction. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Well, my name's David Gianopoulos. I'm an actor in this play here at the Road Theater Company called Through the Eye of a Needle. And it's a great play, and it's a great ensemble, beautifully written, and we're getting great reviews, and we're very proud of it.
Great. And which character did you play?
I play Larry, the father of the Keene family. He and Barbara are the main staples of the play, and everything happens in our house on Christmas Eve. And a lot of people open up, and they tell stories, and they tell secrets, and they reveal things about themselves that are universally human. Larry is a father who lost his daughter in Iraq, and he's a breadwinner. He's always been there for his family, and the death of his daughter, who died in the Middle East, serving the country, has put a great strain on his relationship. And both my wife and myself are dealing with those pains in different ways, as most people would when they lose a child that they both love so much.
He's more of an old school type of guy, more of a blue collar guy. Probably doesn't express himself a whole lot. He's not the type of guy who cries. He's not the type of guy who actually expects women to serve in the military. Men are supposed to do that. But it did happen to him, and he's just got to work it out somehow. What are your thoughts on that?
What the hell are you talking about? I think that he's very worried about his daughter going there. He served. My guess is I think of him as someone who served, and he knows the dangers of war. He knows how many friends he's lost, and he knows the risk that she's taking, and he doesn't want her to take it. And she does, and the day that she went off, the both of us didn't talk to each other because I was so hurt by her leaving. And I don't think I'm giving anything away by saying that. It's very early in the play. But it's a very painful thing. But you can't play all of that. You have to try and make the best of it every day. So there's a lot of humor in the play. There is a lot of laughter in the play. And that's what really brings out the pain also, because we go from one extreme to the other. So people really experience it's not a heavy, heavy play. There's so many light moments, so much laughter in the play. But that's human. People, when they suffer and they're going through hard times, many things come up that are funny, and situations, and even something that becomes kind of serious can be extremely funny because there are so many people on stage dealing with it. And the show is like a clock, and in a way, the play is like a memorial. We learn a lot about Dana through everybody's eyes. So maybe we, don't get to the church, maybe we do, but certainly in that house, we memorialize her on Christmas Eve.
This reminded me a lot of the work of Norman Lear, or basically he'd be dealing with modern issues like homosexuality and marrying it with, with other modern issues like, the church and with traditional blue-collar workers and all that. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that the play deals with the human struggle. And because Norman Lear is very funny, he also understands, when you look at something like All in the Family. Larry would maybe be your Carol O'Connor character, Archie Bunker, but not to that extreme. We play a realism in this play that isn't quite of that level. Sitcoms are a little bit more Although I have to say, All in the Family really cut it close. And normally is a wonderful writer, as is Jamie. And I can see the comparisons to that. But this is a single night with a full story, with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And sitcoms, they go from week to week. And that's the way, Norman, television is a writer's medium. Stage is an actor's medium first. But it really is kind of special to do something of this quality where the human experience, there is a lot of humor in it, but there is a lot of pain. And you can't play the pain throughout this play. You have to find the humor in life and the absurdity of situations that can turn on a dime, and then a door opens and this big flood of emotion comes out. So I think the audiences really take a roller coaster ride in this play.
Yeah, well, I really love the play. I love you in it, too.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm really grateful that you came and took the time to check out Through the Eye of the Needle.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Okay, peace.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I'm Meegan Holloway. I'm an actor here in Los Angeles, do film and TV, and I do theater, which I love.
Okay, and which character did you play tonight?
I played Barbara Keene. Barbara is somebody who has gone through just hell. She's lost her daughter, and this is an evening that she wants to be perfect. It's a very fragile evening for her, and so she's trying so hard to keep it all together. And of course, as is the case with plays, it just goes to hell. She loses control of it, and I think what Barbara is about is the idea that you pray for something and the answer that you get is entirely different and yet better than you could have imagined.
This reminded me a lot of the works of Norman Lear, like All in the Family, where it takes modern issues, tackles them directly, debates upon them, deals with the controversies. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's so true, because I think there's a lot of comedy and there's a lot of humor in it, and then just like the best of his stuff, all of a sudden it kind of hits you in the gut, and it's all born out of something really real and deep and human and heartfelt and heartbreaking. So yeah, absolutely.
Some people, again, I've mentioned this to other cast members, some people would describe this family as dysfunctional, but I was thinking, are they really dysfunctional? I mean, how else can you handle this? I mean, what would be a more healthier way to handle this?
Yeah, I think that they are dealing with something extraordinary. I think they're struggling because everybody deals with grief differently, and they've just been smacked in the face with this. So they are all just trying to tread water, and they come together because underneath it all, they do love each other, and they're loving people, and again, they get their prayer gets answered in such an unusual and unexpected way that they are actually, the fact that they're able to embrace it ultimately, no matter how hard they struggle to get there, is what makes the play redemptive. Instead of a tragedy about a bunch of people who can't come together, they are people who finally allow each other to grieve in the way that they need to.
Great. If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Wow. That's a goodie. You should expect to see something that's very funny and at the same time really heartbreaking and true.
Yeah, I thought it was also very poignant to modern times. It brought in modern issues like social media, brought in, not just modern controversies like, I guess, church and homosexuality, but also the war, post-stress syndrome, even miscarriages.
It talks about so many things that people are dealing with right now, and things that I think everybody out there struggles with, and especially with family, because here you are sort of locked in this relationship with these people who you love, but you often do not agree with. And I think especially in these times, we know what it's like to find ourselves on opposite sides of an issue that really matters to us. And how do you do that and still love each other and figure it out? And viciously attack one another and throw things.
Yeah, well, again, I love the piece. I loved your part in it also because, again, you played a character where, it wasn't really a very dramatic character where you're not like a serial killer or something. But again, deal with very emotional issues that families deal with, and you dealt with it really red hot too.
Thank you. I think one of the things when you see a theater piece, I think nobody wants to see somebody succumb. I think they want to see people fight. Nobody wants to spend 2 hours with a victim. They want to watch somebody who, whether they're failing at any given moment or succeeding at any given moment, they're not giving in, and they are going to fight it out to the bitter end. And that's heroic, even in these tiny, like this is a little New Jersey family, but there's heroism in what people do to get by.
Okay, once again, I really love the piece. Love you in it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for talking to us.
Hi, my name is Ashley Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Chet Grissom. Well, I'm an actor in town. I've been a member of this theater company for about 12 years now, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm occasionally working in film and TV.
Great, and which character do you play tonight?
I am Pastor Bill Towers. The pastor is a well-meaning, positive, deeply believing man who is honestly trying to help people in this play. And it just turns out that the help that he has to give is not necessarily what they need.
Well, first of all, I love this piece. It reminded me a lot of Norman Lear's work. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's very astute. It is timely. It is funny. Most importantly, it is funny, and it is entertaining, and that's what we're here to do.
Plus, it tackles a lot of modern issues that are controversial, but actually presenting both sides of the points. It deals with the things that are kind of just unspoken, like whether the church has problems with, say, homosexuality or patriotism, the Peace Corps. Again, this would remind me a lot of All in the Family, actually.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, where there isn't really a bad guy anywhere, but there is deeply held beliefs and disagreements.
Some people might describe this as a dysfunctional family, but let's look at this a little deeper. Is it really a dysfunctional family? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a family in mourning. It is a family trying to deal with a loss, and each member of the family is dealing with it in their own separate way, but they're not talking to each other. And so that's what gives the impression initially in the beginning that it's a deeply dysfunctional family. But underneath all of that, there is a huge amount of love.
Yeah, there's a lot of heart. They seem to follow their heart. It seems like they resolve their problems too in a very healthy way. So it's a strange thing that they seem like they have problems. Like, you should be in therapy. You guys are all messed up, but they're dealing with the problems in a very healthy way, and it's like, are they really messed up? I don't think so. I think they're really, really just unpacking their garbage and just working out the best they can.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's telling at the end of the play, which I don't really want to give away, but they seem to come to, and they finally listen to each other and come to an understanding of how to move forward.
Also, I love anti-heroes and villains. Was your character an anti-hero? Was he a villain? What was he?
I can't. I did not look at him that way. It was really important for me to be likable, to be somebody who was not mean and not judgmental. But everything that comes out of his mouth is from a deeply held belief that he has. And so we spent a lot of time on that positivity, being very positive. I hesitate to say this, but I have a lot of evangelicals in my family, and everybody is extremely positive and very, very nice and polite. And I try to keep them right there, right on that line.
Well, I love the play. I loved your character. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashley Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Stephanie Erb. I've been working for a couple decades on television, film, and theater. That's pretty much what I do for a living.
Great. And which character did you play?
I played Shirley in Through the Eye of a Needle. Shirley, to begin with, you might think she's comic relief. She really is an outsider, though, and is doing the best she can in a very difficult situation. And, as many characters in this play do, she has some secrets she's keeping, and those are weighing very heavily on her. But she has a very interesting relationship with her husband, where it's probably not happy. I think they have a marriage that works, but it's not good for Shirley. So that's the journey of Shirley, is sort of finding out how to become a whole human being, I think, on her own.
This reminded me a lot of Norman Lear's work, a lot of All in the Family. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with that completely. In fact, I almost feel like Shirley is like Edith Bunker to a certain extent from All in the Family, because you don't think she's particularly intelligent, and she's kind of goofy, but there's an innate goodness about her that I think Edith Bunker had, and I totally agree with you on that analogy. I really do. Yeah.
Also, some people would say this family is dysfunctional, but then I was thinking about, is this family really dysfunctional? I mean, should they be going through therapy, or should everyone be going through therapy? These guys are just dealing with their garbage.
That is a really good observance. I think because they're having their emotions and they're having their little squabbles and fights, they are in good shape to get healthy. They're not healthy people. There's definitely alcoholism involved and a lot of anger and sadness that needs to be dealt with. However, they are not like closed off serial killer family. You know, they're definitely people who feel stuff and care about each other, and that's a big step towards health. They're just dealing with major tragedies.
I love the way you and the pastor, you obviously your pastor's wife.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that defines you or not, or defines your character.
Well, it does some of the time.
yeah. But again, it's bringing in a classical character, because again, it could be a very boring character. Your classical white pastor, your classical white. They do nothing wrong, but bringing them in and dealing with the controversy of things like homosexuality, of basically, whether they should be actually forcing their lifestyle, their will on someone else, or just their opinion on someone else. This is where you're supposed to just, but because why? Because you think that?
Right. I mean, I think that it could be a very one-sided role that we play, but I think as many pastors who have opinions that might be outmoded do, he thinks he's doing good things. And she's doing her best to be the best pastor's wife and accepting of people and joyous about holidays and things. But deep down, he's got the restrictions of some of the lies that his, beliefs are built upon. So he gets exposed by the end,
Also, he gets paid to believe this way. I mean,
that's true. It's a job. It is a job. So he has to call the party line, and he very much does.
Okay, if my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, I think that the fun part about this production is that it's funny, it's touching, it moves very quickly. I don't think there's time when the audience goes, wow, I won his intermission, It's brisk. It's been really well directed, and, expect to be surprised, and have a sense of a family that is suffering like we all of our families suffer at some point, and how they sort of work through it. And they use a lot of humor to do so.
Yeah. Well, I really love the play tonight. I loved your character, too.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Cara Hume. Thanks for having me. I play Dana Keene in Through the Eye of a Needle, and it's been a wonderful ride with this whole ensemble. I'm playing the eldest daughter of the Keene family, who's an Iraqi war vet, and the family is dealing with not having me at Christmas for the first time. I think this character really kind of lives in between past and present, so she's somewhere in between a physical character and a memory, which is really beautiful. And she's a loving person that's really devoted to her family and her comrades in arms. So Nasser, I mean, they went through this experience together in the war, and that's what keeps them really close.
This piece reminded me a lot of All in the Family, of Norman Lear's work, where basically you had like opposites, like, say a white racist and a minority or a homosexual together, and they would just have them conflict together and all that. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's just a beautiful kind of slice of life. We do have, all of our families have different people with opposing viewpoints, and that's what makes a family beautiful, is the mesh of different personalities and different backgrounds. And I think this play does it really well. We were just talking with our audience that Pastor Bill isn't malicious. He's not necessarily the quote unquote bad guy. He comes from his viewpoints, and everyone everyone in the play comes from a place of earnestness, a place of love, and they're just struggling to come through in the best way they can.
Some people would describe this family as dysfunctional. You should go to therapy. Are these people really dysfunctional, or this is the way you work out things in therapy? How else can you work things out? I mean, isn't this the best way to work out? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know that they're dysfunctional. I think they're traumatized. They're a family that's still processing grief and loss of a family member, and they're working through it together the best way they know how. I think, sure, therapy, I mean, it's all about communication, and you see that in this family, that their lines of communication are cracked, and they're working to find the new normal and how to relate to each other now with these new circumstances.
Right. I really love the piece. Again, remind me a lot of Norman Lear, except your character. I don't think I ever saw a character like yours in a series, in his work. But I loved it. I loved the way it worked out. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Yeah, hi, I'm Caitlin Huey. I'm an actress and a singer and a songwriter, and I play S in this production. Graduated from UCLA Theater School. Been here in LA ever since. Went to Groundlings for 3 years through their improv program and studied a bit of Meisner. And work in film, TV, theater, all of the above. So happy to be here. Company member at the Road. So happy to be a company member at the Road.
Great. And which character do you play tonight?
I play S. In other words, Samantha. I think she's incredibly powerful. She's the youth coming up in America. She's staging a protest. She is changing the world. She's a vegan. She's straight edge. She's really kind of at the forefront of thought and really trying to do her best to be the best she can for herself, for the world, for her family. She's really torn up by the loss of her sister and is really trying to make her sister proud and bring peace to the world. I think she's been affected so deeply by what it means to lose a family member in war, and she's coming back to try to remedy that so that nobody else has to suffer what their family has suffered. And so she's very strong and powerful.
This reminded me a lot of the works of Norman Lear, All in the Family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I haven't, studied it too much. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, like any family, there's just, people are going to butt heads. They're not going to see eye to eye. Everybody has different ways of loving each other. Everybody has ways of handling grief. And I think especially in this play, you see the ways that people are missing each other, the gifts that they're trying to give each other, and then the ways that they're not receiving them or they're not being seen. And a lot comes to light in this play. And I think love prevails, which feels good.
Yeah. The reason, again, I mentioned it was Norman Lear's work. Yeah. He would take things like two opposite people, like a black person and a white person, extreme racists and extreme, activists, put them together and just get them to talk and interact. That was like you would have the old school father who's blue collar, and you have the young school daughter, both just fighting each other out and just expressing their opinions, trying to resolve things out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of that at play. You get to see the older generation that's a little bit more set in their ways and not really believing that you can change the world with one protest or using your freedom of speech, or, the system's too bogged down, we can't really fix it. And then the youth just seeing all these possibilities, all these ways that things could change, seeing the light, seeing the love that we could all go towards. And so, yeah, it is really fun to put those opposites next to each other and just see how they clash and how they resolve.
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think you're going to see a lot of... this play is like an onion. There's so many layers. There's so many little stories buried in the bigger story. And I think you're going to see a true ensemble piece, which I think is rare to find in Los Angeles. You're going to see people working like one organism. And you're going to see a story about love and about family and ways that we can all step up in our lives to choose love. And I think it's a very life-affirming play, and I think it's a really educational piece. You're going to learn about the Middle East. You're going to learn about the war in Iraq. You're going to learn about things that were happening in our world in 2011, and remember that time and consider why we're here now in 2018 and how these events in 2011 contribute to where we are now. So I think it's a really wonderful piece to help contextualize our own history that is unfolding right now.
I really love the piece. I'd love to use it also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for coming.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Erica Mathlin. I am here by way of Arizona. I moved here about 6 years ago with my husband, and just to further pursue, this art form that I love so much, and I landed here in the Road Theater Company, so I'm having a good time.
Great. And which character do you play tonight?
I play Nasser. Nasser is very complex and offers us just an insight into a world that many of us may not be familiar with. One of war, and one that is, from, another part of the world that we get to see.
This piece reminded me a lot of All in the Family, of Norman Lear's work. It was funny. It was also very, very poignant about modern problems that are going through nowadays, and also real America, not Los Angeles America, real America.
Absolutely, real America. It's right in your face. You can't turn the TV off. You can't walk away from it. You can't pretend like it doesn't exist. And it is something that is very much a part of our history that we have to acknowledge, and by doing so, make sure that it doesn't continue in the future.
Some people would say this family was dysfunctional, but I was in the audience thinking, is this family really dysfunctional? I mean, they're working things out. They're yelling a lot. Should they be in therapy? Or are they dealing with it the way you really should be dealing with it? What are your thoughts on that?
That's an interesting question. I don't know that there is really any right or wrong way, to deal with their situation, one of grief, one of, very unexpected grief at that. And so I think that they're doing the best they can with the tools that they have. And I think that's just like all of us,
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see a lot of surprises. A lot of surprises. And to just be along for the ride. Yeah.
Well, I really love this piece, and I love doing it too. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Through the Eye of a Needle will be playing at the Road Theater from March 23rd to May 13th. For more information, go to www.roadtheater.org.